Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Josh Mansfield, a teacher with the Demon, and with me is Nathan Fox, one of the founders of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. Nate, today our email comes from Dion, subject LR5 difficulty.
Dion says, hello, I've been sitting at roughly a 22 out of 26 or 22 out of 25 for the LR section, and I consistently miss the level 5 difficulty questions, which, by the way, the reason why they're level 5 difficulty is because more people miss that question. So it's not surprising that if you have extremely high accuracy, the ones you miss are, it's more likely that they're going to be the hardest ones if you're doing it right, if you're taking your time, which it seems like Dion is. You're not making the silly mistakes anymore. You're just not quite unlocking the hardest questions on the test. That's a good problem to have.
Good spot to be in.
Dion continues and says, I don't think I'm necessarily running out of time because I'm finishing those last 3 or 4 questions, but they keep destroying my score. Okay, well,
There it is.
Hold on a second. If you didn't get it right, you didn't finish it. If you didn't get it right, you didn't actually do it. The LSAT is about solving problems. It's about solving one question at a time, getting it correct. If you missed it, it's the world's worst waste of time. So I think what's happening here, it seems pretty clear to me that Dion is rushing a little bit. Fortunately, you're not rushing in the beginning of the section. You're not like making a bunch of casual mistakes on your way to the 20s. But once you've gotten to the 20s, Dion, those questions are harder, dude. Like the level 4, level 5 difficulty questions tend to live in the last 5, 8 questions. I mean, that's where the hardest questions on the test tend to live. You need to spend more time on those questions, not less. And I think you are rushing to finish. You apparently, Dion, like wants to be able to make this claim that he's not running out of time. But if you didn't get him right, then I don't give a shit whether you ran out of time or whatever. You just didn't actually do it. If you didn't pick the right answer, you didn't do it.
I can click through 25 questions in 35 minutes, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, it's just not impressive to finish and get them wrong. Yeah. Now, 22 points is pretty good. Like you're in a good place. But the way to get there, it's like your problem is not level 5 difficulty questions. Your problem is you're not being careful enough on those last few. You're just not solving them. You're skimming the surface. You're falling into traps. You want to be able to pat yourself on the back about finishing the section. And instead, you should be patting yourself on the back when you don't miss any of the questions you attempted. Like I would prefer that you did 21 questions and got them all right, because your score would be the same. Okay, 21 questions, get them all right, randomly guess on the last 5. Expected score, 22 points. But that would be 22 points with 100% understanding. 22 points with 100% understanding is a hell of a lot better than 22 points with 85% understanding. Because I think that's what Dion has here, or maybe even less, right? Like the demon understanding heuristic would say that for every one you miss, there's another one that you got right, kind of lucky. So Dion, I think you've been getting, if you're missing 3 or 4, then there's another 3 or 4 that you didn't really understand. You kind of half-assed it, and you picked the right answer this time, but you could have missed it, as evidenced by the fact that you keep missing 3 or 4 per section.
Yeah.
So you're not understanding as much as you think you understand. I'm not telling you that your problem actually is speed, because that's certainly not your problem. Your problem is lack of care, lack of attention.
Dion's shooting himself in the foot in 2 ways. Because first off, he's not spending enough time on these questions, so he's missing them in the section. But then he's also not learning them because he probably just reviews them and goes, "Oh shoot, yeah, I just missed that. I just didn't see that," and then goes in and does the exact same thing. And he doesn't read with enough care, and so he's not actually learning those hardest questions. He's not solving them, and so he's not learning for the next practice section he takes. He just keeps missing those questions. And so he asks, what should I do to improve those last questions? Don't do the last 4, do the last 2.
Right. He's practicing failure.
Yeah.
Like he's learning, he's reinforcing a bad habit of doing more work than he can competently do. And I mean, it really is like missing a question is LSAT incompetency. You didn't read it well enough to actually solve it. And I'm incompetent sometimes. I mean, it's kind of rare, but I will miss a question sometimes. Almost always because I didn't put enough time and attention into it. I didn't put enough care into it to make sure that I was choosing the right answer. So I made 2 mistakes. I picked a wrong answer and failed to pick the correct answer. Dion, you're making a lot of mistakes. If you're missing 3 or 4 questions per test, that means you're making 6 to 8 mistakes just on those ones that you missed. Right? That's 3 or 4 wrong answers you picked. That's 3 or 4 right answers you didn't pick. And I think you got lucky on some of the ones that you got right. Because you're just not really going deep enough to really unlock it. So to build for the future, be okay with running out of time. Dude, the 5-minute warning pops up and you're on question 19. That's okay. Who cares? Maybe you've gotten 1 through 18 correct. You're going to bubble in guesses for the rest of the section. You're going to get 19, 20 correct in the last 5 minutes. You'll still get 1 right out of random guessing at the end. You'll end up with basically the same score you have now, but you'll have much higher actual understanding of the test, which in the long run means that when you do start doing 22 or 23 or 24 questions, you'll do that with 100% accuracy instead of your current 85% accuracy. So you'll do less work, but get paid more for the work you're doing. You'll learn more. So you're like actually building something for the long run instead of what you're doing now, which is just kind of banging your head against the wall. I mean, you're just doing the same. And I think Dion recognizes, right? I'm doing the same stupid shit over and over again. That's why I wrote into the podcast.
It's so funny the way that students will drill and they'll do great and they'll do one at a time. And the second they hit a time section, they just change the way they do it, right? Like, oh, I have to do it differently now. I have to hurry. Oh, I don't have enough time to sit here and figure this out. I need to go. And it makes them worse at the test. And I'm sorry, but no law school cares what your LR practice sections are. No. You are wasting learning opportunities. You are wasting opportunity to get better at this test by doing it wrong. And then you're reinforcing, as you said, Nate, you're learning how to do it incorrectly, which always translates to the official test. The key to succeeding on the official test is treating it just like a practice test or a time section.
Yeah.
And the key to succeeding on a practice test or time section is to treat it just like you're drilling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like people that can hit it great on the driving range, but then they suck on the golf course. It's like, well, yeah, okay, because you're doing something different on the range. Like you're trying harder on the course than you're trying on the range. Or you're trying harder on the range than you're trying on the course, or I don't know, there's something that you're doing different.
Yeah.
And so you need to like learn to practice the way you play and play the way you practice. I think a mix of drilling and timed sections. Drilling is a really efficient way to just do 1 question at a time and then learn from your mistakes. It's kind of like hitting balls on the range. But then timed sections, that's like go out and play 9 holes and see if you can actually score. And then you've got to balance those two so that you learn to play as well as you practice. Here for Dion, yeah, I mean, you're reinforcing bad habits by continuing to just do the same thing over and over. And what you really need to be doing is ignoring the clock during your time sections. Don't even try to finish. Just ace the ones that you actually attempt, and you're going to do great in the long run.
You're in a great spot, Dion. You're very close. Just make this adjustment and you could, I think you'll see your score. Most students who are having this problem, who adjust and slow down just a little bit, their scores go up and kind of meet somewhere in the middle. I think you're going to be very pleased when you stop trying to finish that section.
Yeah, just get the first 22 right. If you just get the first 22 right, you're already scoring higher than you're scoring right now.
Yeah.
So instead of finishing 25 or 26 questions every time, just make sure that you're getting every question that you attempt right. Your score goes up today and you're building a better foundation for your future performance. Dion sounds like he's going to kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, he really does. I don't know what your diagnostic was, but you're in a great spot, Dion.
Yeah. Happy you wrote in, Dion. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you would like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.